Decided it is because I'm just more or less convinced that I think Red Reserve's just going to win. I think it'd be a 3-0, maybe a 3-1, but that's the expectation going in. But if FaZe turns up and they make things interesting, oh, Ben, we can wild out.
All right, well, we shall wait and see. Of course, map number 1, St. Marie Dumont. We're kicking things off on board with FaZe. It was Zuma's perspective, but he's already fallen to Scraps. Default now over to Replays, who will find one that is Scraps, but early time going to Red Reserve.
Absolutely. Red Reserve, pretty nice opening break. They get the clean 3 down. Meanwhile, Joe is behind the entire team. He finds 3, looking for 4. Replay says no. But either way, that's just going to buy another 15, 20 seconds for Red Reserve. And again, expectation going in. It's just someone's got to step up, make some big plays. And if Joe's doing that off the rip, I feel like that's just going to be bad news. Replays, though, he's on a streak of his own. He's 4-0. He's building towards some score streaks, but Zero's there, picking up the 2-piece, shutting him down.
And to your point about Joe, it's funny, you speak to the Red Reserve players, and they'll all say themselves, yeah, when Joe has a big game, he's double plus, we just can't lose. It's almost at that point impossible to lose. And so far, a nice early lead for the Red Reserve boys, 47-0. Now it comes down to the rotation. Already note Zuma spawns out, as does teammate Replays. So Red Reserve in a prime position here to break the hill early.
And it's worth mentioning, it was Joe that was blocking and locking down that spawn for Red Reserve. Priest, though, he picks up 2, but it's still going to be a dogfight because Red Reserve, they still have those good spawns. They're still in control of the hill. And, well, you kind of talked about Joe outslaying, but Red Reserve as a whole, even when he's double negative, even when Red Reserve is getting outslayed, they're still winning games. FaZe, it's the complete opposite. They need the kills to get those wins. And there's an example. They don't get the spawns, but when they get that clean 4 down and fight back through, that's when FaZe can get some time.
Well, 26 seconds left on the hill. Rated wants to give it one more go. Ultimately does get traded out. So the final 20 will go to FaZe Clan. Score should be about 68-35 as we rotate over towards parking lot. And this is important to note now. Look at that minimap. Look at how far Red Reserve are pushed up. You see the first gunfight going on your screen, which Priest actually wins there. And do you see the massive influence that has? Scraps now spawning out. He's sprinting across the map as quickly as possible. His teammates in a pretty high pressure situation. They cannot afford to lose these gunfights. And as well as that, bear in mind how close Zuma is to streaks. He may have actually heard Rated. Rated hears him as well. But now, one more kill will do it.
And at the very least, Rated's going to slow him down just because he tags him up enough that, well, it's actually going to be Joe that comes in. But Zuma, he gets stopped in his tracks because FaZe is spawning so far out. So even if Zuma picks up another kill, even if he gets streaks like Red Reserve, still, they're in complete control of the hill. FaZe still has to go on the trek, and if they burn the streaks there, it might not have even gone their way. They put themselves in just a very difficult situation. The 2-3 rotation, Red Reserve has been on point. You got one player pitching the back, but still, FaZe, they're going to be flooding in the front. Zero's just going to be waiting for it. He's going to be mantling, doing whatever he can, and, well, there's 3. Can Joe go big? He finds 1. It is going to be FaZe, though, eventually coming out on top for 15 seconds.
And that's the key, right? 15 seconds. Eventually, FaZe break through the Red Reserve setup. But, I mean, all right, you give away a little bit of scrap time. Are you really that bothered? Probably not. As Rated looks to try and clean up the kill on attach. Not going to happen. And again, for the new hill as it pops over towards Lookout, it is Red Reserve with the map control. No one on the hill just yet. Joe ultimately does drop. Zero patrolling mid-map. He should find the first. Will do so. That's Zuma. And again, still waiting for someone to touch the hill.
And it's going to be Red Reserve first inside. I mean, think about it. They won the first rotation on the hill because they get the opening break. They win the rotation next because Joe gets spawns. They win the rotation at third because FaZe gets the scrap time. And, well, FaZe got the scrap time last, but Red Reserve for the moment is winning this hill as well. Zero's working on some streaks. He gets shut down. And, well, FaZe, this is the only opportunity they've really had in this game to actually get a substantial amount of time.
And even then, with 24 seconds left, Red Reserve, they're not going to give it up for free. Granted, didn't check his corner. Replays will punish him for that. Final 15 again will go to FaZe Clan. So after what looked like it could have been a scary start for FaZe Clan, they do a little bit of damage limitation. The score still pretty favored to Red Reserve. Nothing massive anymore though, especially with how kind of swingy this map can be at times. You've seen massive comebacks occur. Will this be another one of those examples as we rotate back to restaurant? Red Reserve early control. Rated trying to control up top, and the kills going in their favor. Now, of course, last time it was a big individual play from Joe towards the end of the hard point, where he was able to get control of this one. You'd love Red Reserve to maybe get control a little bit earlier.
Well, the benefit for FaZe, though, is they got the split spawn coming in, so they got the pre-made pinch. Zero, though, is going to try to do some damage. He's going to be looking at the cut, and Attach just not even aware where Zero was going to be coming from. Zuma, though, doing everything he can for the team. He was the player that came and flanked through top, and, well, he finds 2, and that's the opening the FaZe needs. Someone has to step up and make those big plays. It might as well be Zuma.
And it's important to note, Zuma may have just juggled the hill perfectly as he got the plus 100, dipped out. 465 out of 700. Hardpoint is going to be contested. You'd love to see him maybe pick up at least one kill. Not going to happen. Scraps wins that. Replays there for the trade. Again, keep your eye on the spawns. The yellow arrows favorable for, of course, FaZe Clan. As we rotate now to our second hill. The lead still pretty heavily in favor of Red Reserve. 154 to 80 points. But, of course, in the first rotation of Hill's chance, Red Reserve broke through with relative ease.
Already much better than last time. FaZe is making sure they control the ammo side spawns, but Red Reserve, it looks like they might just, well, flood in the left side. They got a bunch of players coming in through barn. Priest, though, pre-fire. He knows those players are coming. He gets the kill on the second, and then Zuma is going to be able to flank to, well, make that guy weak for Priest to get the third. So now Priest himself is going to be working on some score streaks, and this is the best way to win the 2-3 rotation. Just get fully streaked out. You can afford to give up the final 10 seconds of scrap for the rotation, or however you want to handle it, but Priest has to get him, and he gets shut down.
And that's probably the fourth or fifth occasion so far. Player's been a couple of kills away from streaks and not been able to convert. Final 20 seconds may go over to Red Reserve here if they're able to just deflect the final push from FaZe Clan. Replays is still alive, and while FaZe take control of the final 10, still advantage Red Reserve. They're there early on rotation of parking lot. They don't have to worry about anyone slipping through the net just yet. However, Joe will just back away, makes his way back up towards the green tower side. And again, look at the control Red Reserve have for chance.
This is it, do or die. FaZe, they have one really good, clean opportunity to get this break, but they got a lot of map that they're going to have to work through, and they're getting picked apart. That's going to be 3 clean down. They know they're going to be coming from radio. FaZe, I mean, it's almost a situation where you kind of have to flood, but if you flood, you're going to get picked apart. Joe's on the attack. He's able to find 2. 0 gets a third. 1 player is up top. Another clean 4 down. 60-point lead. Final 30 seconds slated to go the way of Red Reserve. As expected on St. Marie, they should just get that win.
Pull out your pen, pull out your paper, take notes. This is exactly how you want to set up on parking lot. A bit of an unfortunate spawn comes through for Priesta, however, but Rated is in the hill, ready to deal with it. And this is going to be a full 60 for Red Reserve, and they've just once again put the pressure on FaZe.
And now you got 4 members of FaZe swarming to, what, stop 10 seconds from coming in. Well, that's great. Red Reserve says, okay, we'll spawn on the other side of the map because you didn't block any spawns, and we'll set up for parking lot because you have a massive deficit. And, like, frankly, Priesta, I think he just needs to leave that time. Like, it's already too late. You can't rely on your teammates to make massive plays. You got to get in it. And by the way, Joe able to sneak through enemy lines, look for him to potentially make the big play if his teammates just don't win all the gunfights on the other side of the map. And so, yeah, Joe doesn't have to do anything. He's literally just there to block spawns and make FaZe's run back to the hill even farther.
Yep. By the time he got there, his teammate already found the kill. A little unfortunate for him, but overall a great performance from Red Reserve. And this is what's interesting. Look at the stats, right? Look at the kill column. Relatively even across the board there for Red Reserve. Don't get me wrong, 0 in scraps in terms of being positive. Yeah, they're Rated and Joe slap bang even. But in terms of the slaying job, wonderfully consistent across the board there for Red Reserve. And they just kind of made that look easy. Just with, to your point that you made towards that last one, was just their spawn control. Forcing FaZe to spawn so far away, they only have to get 2 waves of kills as opposed to really having to work hard and get maybe 4 waves of kills where the opposition is spawning so close to their hill. They make it look so simple.
I think it was a rotation masterclass. I think the only rotation FaZe actually won was the second set of rotations for the second hill.
Yep.
And after that, literally every single time, from the opening break, from wrapping to lookout post, even to restaurant, like they're winning the rotations to the middle hard point. It was every single one. You know, what is that, 9 for 10? However many hills went through the game.
All in favor of Red Reserve. As you said, a masterclass there in terms of rotation and just great hardpoint in general from the Red Reserve squad. And they now go 1-0 up in the series. Of course, Fake on down, but definitely not out. In terms of the search and destroy, though, is this maybe where you see some signs of life? I know you said you expect it to be a Red Reserve kind of series, and I think many people do as well. But if there was a game type coming in, I don't think many people would have said St. Marie Hardpoint would have been the one FaZe take. Do you look at maybe the search?
Yes, I think it would have to be the search. It was Red Reserve's weakest game mode by far. They were still good at it. So again, it's not going to be easy, but that was the reason why I said coming in, I'm not overly excited for this series because I don't have faith in FaZe, because I expect them to lose the hard points like that, and it's going to be a dogfight to get those S&D wins, to get the CTF win, but obviously must-win situation for them. There's no opportunities. You have to beat Red Reserve in this situation. We'll see if they can clutch up.
Well, I know before the game, Jess caught up with some of the players. Let's find out what they had to say.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, I caught up with Scraps, and he was feeling great. He said Red Reserve are feeling very confident. You know, he said that if we play the game the way we should, then it'll be a 3-0. And I know also I did actually speak a little bit with Zuma. His main concern was clutching up on the hard point. He said he thinks that would really be the biggest challenge in this situation. So unfortunately, as we can see, it didn't go quite the way he was probably hoping. And he did respond saying that Red Reserve had some choice words for FaZe on Hot Mic. So they were really hoping to come back and kind of prove them wrong. But we'll see how the rest of the series goes. Ben and Chance, back over to you.
Thank you very much, Jess. Some choice words on Hot Mic, but that's probably not the way they envision getting back at Red Reserve, right? And down 1-0 in the series. Of course, we have seen Red Reserve lose already this week, though, so it's definitely not off the cards. But in terms of FaZe, I mean, it's so hard to favor them in a series like this. It's almost impossible. London Dock Search and Destroy, though, will be game 2. A Flag Tower CTF, followed by 2 Ardennes Forests if we go to a game 4 and game 5.
Well, the thing that jumps out at me about London Docks S&D is I know Zuma at his best can just destroy on this map. The destruction you can cause just by like getting mid-map control repeatedly, and then you have to be concerned about flanks.
Right.
Any number of things, Zuma is a huge guy to look at. But then the second thing I think is, oh yeah, rated, like constantly drops like 15, 16, I think 19 kills at one point he got. And then I think the last time they played on this map, he didn't have the best of games, but then 0 dropped double-digit kills. So is it a good map for FaZe? Sure. Is it a great map for Red Reserve? Yes.
May well be correct there. Red Reserve could come out 2-0, but as we said, London Docks Search and Destroy will be the game 2. As it stands, Red Reserve do have the advantage in the best of 5 series. Feels like the day is going pretty quick, Chance, to be honest with you. And I feel like we both are envisioning it to keep going at a fast pace here. Admittedly, though, the game 3, I don't know whether to be concerned for Red Reserve, but they've definitely shown some sloppiness, I think it's fair to say, on Flag Tower CTF.
Well, their Flag Tower CTF has been like insane. Again, like I'm watching Rated go quad negative on the map against Rise Nation, and they lose by a flag, a single flag.
But they still are losing that map.
True, they are still losing the map, but I think, again, the first thing we said it on Trading Shots, we said it coming into the week, is Red Reserve, I think, needs to lose maps. I think they should purposely play some maps that they're not the best at. Don't play your best, even if you have the opportunity to. Make sure to practice. Get better at some of your worst maps. So if Flag Tower is a map they're expecting to play Rise Nation on happen, if they make it to the finals again, absolutely. Play it as many times in the Pro League as you can. I know Echo Fox, that's where they started the reverse sweep, and depending on how this series goes, maybe FaZe takes the map 3 as well. But I'm cool with that, because again, as long as, like, if Red Reserve wins this, I don't care about map 3, because in my head, map 4, I'm like, well, Red Reserve just got that in the bag too. So again, if FaZe wants to get this win, obviously they're going to need to start here. And we'll see if they can do it.
Oh, I love your brutal honesty. What was that map for? It was Ardennes? I believe it was, right? Yeah, 2 Ardennes Forests, game 4 and game 5. Of course, that's if the series does go that far. First and foremost, it's going to be a London Docks Search and Destroy. Red Reserve with the advantage so far in the series. You mentioned a couple players when we were talking about this map. Of course, Rated, definitely a standout player on this map in game mode combination, as was Zero. Watch out for Joe as well, just kind of being sneaky, a tremendous Search and Destroy player. I know all the Red Reserve squad have a ton of respect for his individual search ability. But then on the flip side, you have to look at Zuma to lead this FaZe squad to a potential map victory. I'm going to kick things off on board with Joe. Already, though, slowed down a little bit by the nade thrown mid-map. And that fight, Joe versus Zuma, we may well see. Not even going to happen. Attach first blood.
And I think that's going to be kind of a dance we're going to see repeatedly of those two kind of butting heads mid-map. And it depends on who has the strategy to kind of navigate that. And obviously, well, FaZe attach. You saw him start out in barrels, goes for the fast flank. Now Zero has got to deal with the player B. FaZe has done this quite a few times. And Priestley is going to get caught out, but he does get that bomb down. So a small advantage to FaZe, but this is kind of wild. Like, you have Scraps on, like, lower docks. Yeah, they were just trying to sniff out Zuma. Now Zero just needs to stay alive, and if he gets a kill, that's even better. Replay is wide peaks, and, well, Attach, you might be good at clutching. Now you got a 1v3. The bomb is planted for mid, but it's already being defused, and you still have to worry about Scraps.
And that's what Attach is so worried about. It's going to be Scraps going through mid, and you expect the child to come, and Attach read it, just not able to land the shots, and ultimately Red Reserve will take the first round here in the Search and Destroy. Defuse heads over to Rated.
And that's just weird. Like, so you get the bomb down, and I like the strat coming out from FaZe, where you just leave Priest to solo. You go for that play call. Even though he gets picked off bomb, that's fine. But you have a player, like, pushed up into fire. I think that player just shouldn't get picked, but Replay shouldn't get picked. It was just a perfect retake, I suppose you could say, for Red Reserve.
Yeah, they pick up the important kills when they need to, and of course, Scraps lingering so long, ultimately able to find the final pick for the round. And now, heading into round number 2, of course, it will be Red Reserve on the attack for them. We'll see what they have to show. It's going to be a B push straight off the bat. Priest, that he's going to get first blooded. Replays instantly gets dropped. Zuma mid-cut, spots all 4 Red Reserve players. Says, nope, that's not for me, thanks. I'm going to try and approach this from a different angle. Now, the 2v4.
See if FaZe can make some magic happen. I don't know what you even do. That bomb isn't even getting planted. I think they were just expecting FaZe to kind of sprint through it because FaZe, it's kind of it's up to them to make a play. Like, they have to make a move, and now that bomb's going to go down. Rated is going to be perfectly fine in the situation, but attached with the wall bang, able to find scraps, makes things a little bit interesting. Trying to look for more.
And Rated basically pinned on the site. Zuma trying to
Joe on the flank, by the way.
That's going to be the important thing to note. And, well, beautiful play from Red Reserve. They call, hey, Joe, go for that little flank. We'll just buy you some time. And I mean, that's just a very easy double kill for Joe.
And I think, again, it's a situation for FaZe. I think the opening strategy was cool. It was well executed. You see they're going for the challenge over in Lights. They got the stuns over top. They did everything right. And then Red Reserve just did it a little bit better, where they had like 3 players. They're like, I'm ready for this gunfight. And then Tatch just gets picked on the, or whoever got picked, crossing back to help it Lights. But again, FaZe did something well. Red Reserve just does something better.
Most definitely do. As it stands, 3 players on FaZe, still searching for the first kill. 2 rounds in. Again, you're going to see that Joe Zuma fight. Skirmish almost mid-map. This time, though, Joe throws out the stun there to where Attach actually found first blood in round number 1. Of course, Attach the only player with kills, and they're going to go for the same strat. Is Zero going to check it? Well, he sees Priesta now, but Priesta will actually escape this time with his life.
Not quite. Joe came through the knife. He was close, but now he's surging forward, and Zuma's going to take that free kill. But a similar situation, albeit now Zuma's going to be trapped down. Zero's just going to get another free kill. FaZe needs to go, because obviously he can hop on this bomb. He's just going to smoke it out. I don't know if you can pre-fire through smoke. I don't know how safe he is, but he's got players looking over top. Attach, you got to go. You got to get the kill through the smoke. He's able to find one on Rated, but not the player on bomb. Again, FaZe does something right. It's a good strategy, and then Red Reserve just does something better.
And it's key to note, the reason that was so successful for Red Reserve was just how decisive they were, right? As soon as Zuma falls, you see Zero spin around, drops the smoke. Rated gets into a great position with where bomb's planted. You have to assume both players are obviously going to be that coal side. A good decision just to stick that bomb, ultimately get the defuse, and now 3-0 up.
Red Reserve, though, switching things up, playing, well, mildly aggressive over towards A. They managed to cross without getting picked. Zuma, though, does have Mountain, so he has free reign. You can do whatever you want. Zero fear of being hurt, as long as you don't, like, switch weapons or anything too crazy. He's not Kenny, so, like, I think he'll be fine.
Don't be crunching your legs, jumping from high places, and you're right. You should be A-okay. Rated, of course, was the Red Reserve player playing a little slow, waiting for the flank to come through, and honestly, you may get good timing on Zuma as Replays just evaporates before your eyes. Touch there to trade, and that was the fight I was expecting. Rated wins it this time. Zuma drops, and it's again advantage Red Reserve. This time a 3v2. Priesta and Attach have to try and do the work. Now it falls to Priesta, 1v3. And you just have to feel like Red Reserve is just outclassing FaZe massively here in Game 2.
I mean, again, I said it's a good map for FaZe. It's just a better map for Red Reserve so far. We'll see if FaZe can make any mid-round adjustments. But, like, out of all the kind of impressive stuff we've seen from Red Reserve, like the smoke the bomb, go for the quick defuse, stuff like that, that was incredibly standard. It was a perfectly executed bait and switch of where Joe dives across, Rated comes in for the challenge on the player of the window, and the execution was absolutely there. But either way, that's a day one strat. It's just a day one strat that they have done, I'm assuming, hundreds of times at this point. And of course, you got to win the gunfights, or it wasn't Rated, actually. Was it Zero? I think it was Zero. Zero won the gunfight. Rated was inside barrels. He picked off Zuma.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, yeah. We're here. We're here.
Yeah, we're fine. We're 4-0 Red Reserve, and Red Reserve basically on cruise control. This time, Joe not going to play over towards barrels. Instead, wants to be aggressive and already puts himself in a good opportunity to see if anyone from FaZe cross. Of course, a couple of early trades go down. No, Joe, pretty loud here, though.
Well, this is the perfect counter strat. How many times has Priesta been by himself over towards B trying to get that sneaky bomb plant? Red Reserve off the rip. Send all 4 at least to help with nades. Rated drops back. But yeah, they killed the one player. They got the bomb down. And this is the problem for FaZe. If you do the same strat over and over, eventually you're going to get caught. So now they have to essentially retake an entire half of the map. But Joey's on the barrel head glitch. Rated's going to come help him out because they got the bomb down. They're just going to be on every single perfect head glitch possible. And they're all set up for trades.
Yep. Rated and the rest of the squad track back. They know they have the bomb down. 30 seconds for FaZe to slowly but surely check as many corners as possible. Joe just double checking. Bomb is still down. Yeah, we're good. Still the 3v3 with 25 seconds. Rated should be first to get some action potentially. If Zuma wide peaks, the nades are going to be thrown, so he knows he's there. Should be an easy one. Connects. Is he expecting the trade to come through? Somehow gets away with his life. Bear in mind, Joe holding the angle for the bomb. Has a player weak. Lies down, ready and waiting. 8 seconds. Even if they picked up the bomb at this point, there isn't going to be enough time, so Zero just simply has to play his life here. Attach is going to try and hunt him down. Replays has to play for the kill. 1 second left. Are they going to peak in time? Not going to happen. And Red Reserve take yet another round.
And I feel for Priesta, honestly. Like, he's 0-5, which doesn't look great, but, like, that round, he was by himself. He got challenged by, like, 3 different players at one point. And then there's been 2 times where he gets the plant, but then he just gets picked off instantly because there's been 0 support for him. So, again, I think just strategically, FaZe, they have a great idea, but it just has not been working in the slightest against Red Reserve. And, well, now you got to complete the full sale, but I don't know how likely that is.
Well, we've seen it once this year. Will we see it again? To your point, probably not. 3v4 though, so I guess building blocks, and there's no extra utility for Red Reserve to use. There's no streaks available. So 1 round at a time here for FaZe Clan. Zero looking through should spot replays. This is a gunfight he's already won so far this map. Launches the nade across. Bear in mind, Priesta has found his first kill of the map. That was on Scraps. 2v4 for Red Reserve. Surely this ends in a FaZe win.
Bunch of players standing in front of Raider right now. They're going to line up just a little bit, but Zero does fall, so that's going to get turned into a 1v3 FaZe. That wasn't really a strategic thing that got him a win. Just get first blood. I mean, you know, Replays does make a nice play call instead of playing passive with the AR in the window. Just come flying through with the sub. Play aggressive, catch him off guard. So maybe I should say the strategy was definitely there. But either way, FaZe, they get 1 on board. Now he just got to get another 5. No big deal.
Yeah, right. Just 5 in a row. Hey, Red Reserve can do it. FaZe can do it too, right? Something like that. But they do get the first round. And a first kill as well for the likes of Priesta. Now I'm curious. They go back on the attack. Is Priesta going to be left on an island all by himself with the bomb? Or will they maybe stick together? Well, I guess there's your answer.
Devil's dancing again. Once again, mid-map, standard stuff from Red Reserve. This is how they played the first handful of offensive rounds. The adjustment for FaZe is there, though. Priesta with the bomb. He's going to be going for that plan on B, but he actually is attached to help him out just a little bit. Zero, though, able to tag him up, but he is going to get back down from 2 players, and that should be a kill, but Zero does able to get out with his life. Still good. That bomb not down.
Oh, and Rated a little aggressive over towards the street. Ultimately drops, as does Scraps, and minor adjustments working in FaZe's favor. Zero, your turn for a 1v4. Makes it the 1v3. 38 seconds, of course, will have to defuse the bomb. No one hit the flank just yet. Time, of course, ticking. Try to check as many angles as possible. And unfortunately, he's going to get flanked here. Does he read it? Doesn't matter. FaZe, 2 in a row.
And it's not just the adjustment from Attach going on the bomb side with Priesta, right? Like, that's a small, important thing. Priesta's been getting picked off. He definitely is going to need the help. But it's also like Scraps getting picked off coming through 10. Like we saw in that very first round. Scraps, despite the fact that like the bomb was planted, Attach's flanking, he's at like apples. So we know he's been hanging around in that 10 area well, deep into rounds and FaZe. Well, they found that pick. They found the pick from Zoom in mid-map. They got the first blood. So again, FaZe can't make adjustments. They're doing well, but still, they got to get another
They just needed
4
5 rounds of experience. That's all they needed. All right, ever since then, it's been good. To be honest, so I do think it's important to note, keep your eye on Zuma here. 3 streak, Priesta as well on a 2 streak. But if Zuma's able to get some streaks here, it could honestly be a catalyst for a comeback. As FaZe have Red Reserve essentially pinned back. Zero needs to be careful not to fall for first blood. No overcommitment because the nade was there. First blood in favor of Priesta. 4v3 FaZe Clan as they look to win their 3rd round in a row.
And Zuma just waiting for this gunfight, waiting forever. Joe was going to fall, and they're going to get 3 in a row, Ben. They're going to get 3, and after this, they're just going to need another 3. And again, strategically, I think the adjustments were there. Rated is going to get taken down by a bunch of flying yellow people. Either way, though, we're going to see. I don't know. I don't think they could do it. I think that's too huge of a deficit. But these have been
never.
They're convincing rounds. They've been convincing rounds.
I told you, they just needed to lose 5, learn exactly what Red Reserve do, and then come back, make a couple of tweaks, and they'll be fine.
But Red Reserve might learn. It's a battle of learning. Ben.
It is. And Red Reserve have been pretty quick learners. throughout the year, making good adjustments, but it is their turn to make those adjustments. They need to be careful because Zuma close to streaks, Priesta close to streaks. If you get a couple of glide bombs out, it's going to get pretty nervy to be a European fan watching this series. Of course, Scraps still 1-5. We pointed out some of the struggles he had in search against Rise Nation. The struggles still continuing here against FaZe Clan. Priesta has been on the island at B almost every attacking round, it feels like. This time, though, look at how far pushed up Zuma is. He knows Zero's going to be there. Throws the nade. Does he stick him? Nope. No stick comes through. Hit markers only, and Rated gets first blood.
That's a huge first blood. Opens up the round. FaZe, they're going to have to try and clutch up. Zero has backed all the way up, but Joe goes for the flank, and he's going to get caught out by replays, so maybe a little bit over aggression. Joe trying to make the play, but either way, even odds. Mid-map control is going to be in favor of Red Reserve. That bomb's going to get planted. A lot of players dancing now, Ben.
Yep, and this is important as well. Priesta gets bombed down, gets a glide bomb. Does he just invest it straight away? It could be perfect because you know Rated's mid-map. You need to be careful though because you're pushing over towards the side where Zero is. Dolphin dives to the corner. The glide is going to be called in. Now this is huge. He's going to spot Scraps, looking for Zero back useless. Doesn't connect with anything, but gets information. Now as he preempts Zero, needs to pick up this kill because Replay's just won one. The FaZe comeback is on. Chance 4 in a row. Streaks as well for FaZe. This is scary now for Red Reserve.
And that's also a round where they got blooded and still clutched up. Replays picked up a huge kill. Priesta, he didn't get the huge kill, but he picked up the glide bomb and called it in, forced the information to feed more kills to his teammates. I think there might be some other streaks potentially coming on board from different members because there's a lot of players from FaZe that are on some sort of a streak. So
there should be another
they won
glide
4 in a row. Now they just need to win 2 more.
Oh, dangerously close is Zuma. Of course, Priesta not getting the pick with the glide bomb. That means he only had that available, but a blind first blood through the smoke grenade for attach. Replays is going to know that this is the push for Red Reserve. Still looking for extra streaks for FaZe, though. As Joe one shot, Replays is going to throw the nade out. He should recognize Zero's there. 2 come in. Chance, did you say full sail? Because you may have it on the cards.
No, Red Reserve, they're looking to clutch this one up. Attach is going to get picked off, and now Zuma needs to not get over-aggressive. Again, all these mid-map fights, there's constantly been just in the front side of barrels Rated, by the way. He's going to make a play. Zero is trapped in right now. Zero can't go anywhere. FaZe could try and hunt this man down, but they're worried about Rated, and Rated's able to find one. Now Zero is a little bit more free. We got a 2v2, Ben.
You did all the hard work, and Replays is so loud. He should know. Zero's still to the left-hand side. Surely this is a pick that Replays will win. He does. 2v1 Rated to deny a round 11 from a Red Reserve 5-0 lead. He knows Replays is lingering. Of course, Rated has to pick up bomb and plant. If you're Replays, you just play close to Zuma. You force a trade if nothing else. 15 seconds on the clock. Replays has been spotted. Rated grabs bomb. Does he just try and stick it here? Doesn't really have much of a better choice. You expect FaZe to check the bomb. Chance, it's round 11 time. And I want you to tell everyone when it was 5-0, what did I do?
What did you?
I looked at you and I did that.
Oh, yeah, you did say 10. Or what does that mean?
I looked at Chance and I put up 2 hands and I said, this is 5-5.
Look, man, you go down 5-0. Look, they won 1 in a row. They need to win 5 more. They won 2 in a row. You still got to win 4. Look, I know they won 5, but you still need to win
You're right.
1 more round.
You're right. You're right. But when you're on the other side of that stage and you had a nice, comfortable 5-0 lead, you look at the scoreboard. Boys, how are we in round 11? Not too sure. Note, though, Zuma, 20 points away from a glide bomb. An assist will do. Again, the dance mid-map between Joe and Zuma. Will we have a conclusion to it in the round 11, and will the conclusion ultimately end with streaks? It is Red Reserve on the attacking side. Bear that in mind. First blood for Rated.
They double naded him. They sniffed him out. You heard both of those nades fall. You heard him get weak, and you heard him fall. Still, though, we've seen 1 3v4 clutch from FaZe Clan already in a similar situation. They still have a fair amount of map control. This is doable. This is doable.
Counter double nade, but Zero's there to trade out Priesta mid-map. Zuma still close to streaks. Can he find it? Of course, Priesta, no streaks available for him as he falls this round. 3v2, still in favor of Red. The bomb surely going down now. Zuma and Replays. They played a pretty nice 2v situation earlier on. Can they do it again? Or will Red Reserve recompose themselves? Bear in mind, you'd love to see Zuma get a pick, and this could be it. Picks the corner, finds the kill, gets a glide bomb, gets away with his life. More importantly, instantly has to drop it. 30 seconds, gonna get the information, should spot Zero, knows one's underground. Replays is still alive, bear that in mind. All they have is the info. No kill comes through with the glide. Replays, tries to wide peek, 0 full Zuma for the 1v2 shot on the side, and Red Reserve, no full sail today. They composed themselves in the round 11, but that was way, way too close.
And they had it. Zuma finds the pick, he gets streaks, he calls both of them out, and then they just didn't clutch up with the gunfights. That's tough. That is tough. That is a must-win map. Now you got to get the reverse sweep. You got to bounce back. You need momentum.
It's over. I would rather lose 6-0 than be 5-0 down, go 5-5 and losing the round. Nope, I'd rather lose 6-0. Give me the 6-0. I'd rather be playing map 3 right now.
I just wouldn't want to lose. Red Reserve, they're going to be feeling, I don't know if they're going to be feeling good after that one. They're going to be feeling something, but either way, they're going to have that 2-0 lead. We thought maybe they can't full sell, and they almost did. I don't think they can reverse sweep, but honestly, like after that, like who the hell knows?
Who knows anymore? That is for sure. Of course, Red Reserve versus FaZe Clan. The game on the main stage currently, as it stands, Red Reserve with the 2-0 lead. A vital game FaZe are looking to win. They almost got the full sale. So close, yet so far. and gentlemen, we are back at the Call of Duty World League presented by PlayStation 4. Red Reserve FaZe Clan, the game on the main stage, and it's Red Reserve 2-0 up. But it was by no means a comfortable 2-0 chance.
It was, until it wasn't. It was comfortable for the first like 6 or 7 minutes. In the end, yeah, FaZe almost clutched up, almost made the comeback. And what I will say about FaZe is they are definitely never out of a series. They have had quite a few reverse sweeps, possibly more than any other team. I'm sure JP probably knows a lot more about that than I do, but I know like the first series that had at Anaheim was against United. They got that reverse sweep. I know they reverse sweep Mind Freak to get all the way to top 6. And Red Reserve has already been reverse sweeped once. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna start here. And with any potential momentum FaZe has from those 5 rounds they had in a row, it's feasible. Attach, flags out.
You're definitely right. Flag Tower and Red Reserve, this week at least, has been an interesting relationship. One of which it seems like they control for the majority, but then all of a sudden things spiral a little out of control, and we have seen the start of a few reverse sweeps occur on this map for Red Reserve. So I'm sure they would love, to your point earlier on, just get more reps on the map, get a little bit better at the map, because, I mean, you think about that final, they obviously play Rise on the map as well. They can solidify their performances here, just really get that extra repetitions. They should be A-OK come stage 2 playoffs, which I think everyone and their mother expects them to qualify for. Note 0 now, 50 points away from a glide bomb. Could use Joe as potential bait, but just gonna let Joe go on in front of him here and see if he can find that first streak.
Joe, go check everything for me. Tell me where they are, and then get them one shot, but then die. I'll come clean up the kill, and, well, there it happens on Zuma. Zero is going to be looking for the cleanup kill. He doesn't know where it's going to be coming from, but there it is. A little bit delayed, and maybe too much, so he's going to choke the streaks. So FaZe, not too much to worry about quite yet.
Joe, 0-4 start for him. But of course, you saw him pushing up. I would have loved to see Zero just kind of go with Joe in that situation. You're going to try and play for those streaks. But as it stands, no streaks on the cards. 2 minutes gone. Yet to really see a big flag pull. As it stands, FaZe being the aggressors here on Flag Tower is ready to track back. Easy one for a hit. Or not.
Priest is going to pull the flag. He's going to be a little bit out with that as well. I think he's just gone. He's going to be able to cross, and now it turns into the foot race. Zero gets caught. Joe, though, you talk about a foot race. He doesn't even have to move because he's already there. He's a step ahead, but he doesn't finish the kill. He's going to get him weak, but Attach is looking for one. He doesn't find the second, but now it really is a foot race. The flag's coming in. Replays is able to find one. He finds the second. The defensive stand is there. Priesta barely getting out with his life on the cross, but he's going to do it in FaZe. Again, the reverse sweep has to start here.
That was nasty from Priesta. Okay. Just a wonderful individual play to get the flag out. Teammates get the cuts, and more importantly, Joe not able to find the pick bottom middle. No, Priesta again working towards some streaks. You'd love to see him get them. Maybe help on another attacking push that could come through relatively quickly. As I say that, Priesta falls mid-map. All 4 players go down. FaZe, 2 minutes still to go here in the first half. Fragile 1-0 lead, but again, still being aggressive.
And it's worth pointing out, Replays is running infantry on the sub, and that's kind of like a pseudo-AR, but just because he has that 4 sub, Rated might feel forced to use one as well, but that means the aggression's going to be there. The flag is going to get pulled, and, well, he's just going to run straight into Replays, who, again, a pseudo-AR. He's going to be stationary, but he's going to find 2 kills, and that flag is just stuck. Scrap gets eliminated as well, and now Rated with a sub. He's able to find 1, and at the very least, that means FaZe, at least 1 player is forced to wrap back. But only 1. FaZe playing pretty aggressive. They got 2 players surging forward mid-map, but as expected on flat, kills get traded left and right.
Trades absolutely everywhere. Zuma, he's going to find Scraps and Zero just always towards the flag. And honestly, may shoot Attach in the back. Is actually no, Zero, 1 shot already. He's going to fall. Flag returned on the other side. Joe cleans up the kill onto Zuma. 60 seconds, still a 1-0 game FaZe, but Priest in a prime position to really be a bit of a pain here for Red Reserve. He just takes his time, may find one, especially if his teammates get a couple of extra kills. This is it now. Priesta springs into life. 4 players go down. Flag has been pulled. Not ready to spawn, though. Is Zuma going to read this? I think he may have just completely read this wrong.
Well, FaZe is actually attacking the side Rated's coming from, and they know he's there. You can see them checking every last corner. Rated, well, he's going to find the flag carry, but he would have had to win the second gunfight as well. So FaZe, they made sure 1 guy's MIA. Everyone come with us. Screw going for relay caps. We got to get this one in, and it's absolutely the right call. Again, FaZe, their CTF has been their bread and butter game mode all year long, and they're going to have the nice and comfortable 2 flag lead.
Flag Tower CTF. It's just been such a thorn in Red Reserve's game this week. It really has. Of course, this by no means over, but FaZe, a very good first half, it must be said. Of course, you look at the first flag, a miracle kill from Priester basically sets that up. Second one, a lot more structured, and ultimately a very, very good run.
And it's impressive as well, like how close these like games can really be, and like how many single moments can decide who comes out on top. Like if Zero at the opening start, when he goes on like the 5-6 streak, if he just gets streaks out there, well then, you know, that's one flag taken away from FaZe. If Joe finishes the gunfight on Priest and when he's diving across with the flag, well, FaZe probably doesn't get that one in either. So there's super small moments that just have an incredible amount of significance, and those seems like, on this map at least, they just don't go Red Reserve's way.
Zero probably coughed when he was in that gunfight for his streaks, and he's been pretty under the weather. I'm trying to be nice to him, man. That felt like a very easy gunfight for him. But still,
wait, which gunfight?
The gunfight for streaks. When he was laid down. I know he's been very unwell this week. He has a very, very poor immune system, but hopefully he gets a little bit better. Of course, that no excuse to being down 2-0 here in the first half, but we're in the second half now. And speaking of Zero, let's have a look at this perspective. 12 and 10, playing pretty well. Really, outside of the one mistake you can really critique him for. Got to find anything else. Well, it's FaZe being aggressive. He's managed to stay alive here, but probably going to get caught reloading. Zuma there for the trade. Scrap throws out the nade, and honestly, Red Reserve should be good to start pushing out at least a little bit. But Joe, oh no, disastrous gunfight. Thought he won it, tried to throw a stun, and ultimately Zuma ends up turning and finding it himself.
And it's actually going to be Scraps that switches over to the bar, because you can see replays pulled out the STG. And what that tells me is FaZe, they are willing to have at least one guy playing very, very controlled. Doesn't need to move. He makes sure that, yes, FaZe, they can play aggressive. You get a flag out, great. But if not, you have the stationary AR to find some easy kills to get that control for you, because ultimately, they just need to waste time. That's all FaZe has to do. And again, if they can get flags, even better.
And if there's one guy you want doing that, replays, very, very good. Kind of taking over that role, and I know obviously Jess mentioned the kind of choice words both teams has is when he says, hey Zuma, we're playing boots, bud, you might want to check your corners, just toy with him. You should just beat him down, Rated. You really should. Just calling him out, making sure his team know exactly where he is, and now springs into life. Teammates should find the pick. Does. Beautiful play and decision making from Rated, but is he going to be able to get the flag out? That's the bigger question. Two players collapsing in on Priester, and I believe last man, in fact, will still be Priester. How's he still alive? Well, Scraps should clean him up. Doesn't even matter. Flag has been run home. Wonderful trigger patience from Rated not to take the original shot. Brings Red Reserve back into the game.
That's a good play. It puts pressure on your teammates, but if they come up clutch, and you can see they got the kill on Zuma, who he was watching walk away from him, it puts you obviously in a great position. So that's what Red Reserve needs. 2 minutes and 45 seconds. They need at least one more flag. FaZe, though, they have quite a bit of control towards mid-map. Rated gets taken down. Zero gets taken down. Scraps, though, on the defensive line, finds at least one, and he's looking for more.
Problem is, Priester didn't waste any time whatsoever. Springs into life, and instantly his Rated spawns up. Over towards that boardwalk side, he recognizes, hold on, someone's probably over towards our big gun. Priester wins the first gunfight, though, and that's Zero. Nice headshots, and again, something to bear in mind, Priester is getting a little close to some streaks. You'd love to see him pick him up here. 580 out of 700. There's another gunfight. One from him, but Red Reserve, they know he's here. They have to be hunting him down, and well, there is the hunt. Joe just kind of looks to his left, says, oh, there you are, bud. Finds an easy win.
I'll absolutely take that. Now you got more fights mid-map. Replays has just been toggling back and forth. I think he's almost 90% of the time having that infantry sub out, but he had the SCG for a moment, so not entirely sure of the switch. Maybe after Red Reserve gets the flag, he wants to put more aggression on. Either way, though, the attack is in. You got Red Reserve swarming from both sides for the moment. And I think Zero might actually be the guy behind enemy lines. One lane was left open. He's able to find one kill. He does get traded out. And it looks like FaZe, once again, handling the pressure, handling the defensive stand properly. Their defense has been on point, again, outside of the one sneaky play coming in from Rated.
Watching Priester sometimes, just like watching Neo from the Matrix, just dodges bullets left and right. Almost managed to turn and get a couple of shots onto Rated before he ultimately cleaned up that kill. But still, Red Reserve clean out their base once again. Now they go for another push. That's 3 down. Last man up is going to be Priester. What magic can he produce? Absolutely nothing this time. Zero going for the flagpole, turns around, recognizes the attach is off spawn. And that kill may actually just put a stop to the Red Reserve push. A minute left, man. Red Reserve, they're going to have to make some magic happen. You got Rated on the right side. You got a player mid. You got a player left. They're swarming everywhere. But again, FaZe has been on point with their defensive stands. You got 2 players looking to hunt down Joe, and they're going to get him. And then that just means a lane is going to be open. The attack coming in from mid. Scraps doesn't find 2, so it's Rated again by himself. He's hunting down kills, but FaZe
on defense. They've been on point. They're keeping track of the enemy. They know exactly where everyone is at all times. They're just good at CTF, genuine. They're just good.
Red Reserve pushing in single file, definitely not going to help either. They have time for one final push, waiting for players to come off spawn. That does not help. Priesta gets basically first blood of the push. Joe in a position to trade out. Priesta again wrapping back, Tatch with a win, Priesta with another win. All falls to Scraps, and guess what? He drops as well. Red Reserve fall in like dominoes in the final few moments of this flag tower CTF. No one's going to get a touch. There's no reason for any of FaZe to touch the flag either, so congratulations to FaZe. They keep the reverse sweep alive, and Chance, we've been here this week, this exact same spot with Red Reserve on that stage, and a flag tower CTF loss, and it can spark things. I know you said yes, okay, you look at the hard points and you think Red is a lot better, but I think FaZe may start getting a little bit of momentum on.
If it goes to game 5, in my mind, I'm like, oh, dude, we got a series on our hands. It's going to be a bloodbath. It could go either way. I think FaZe can do it, but they have to get past the Forest hard point. Okay. And that's where I think they get stopped. But, I mean, if they play like they just did, you never really know. Because I think you had, what, Joe double negative. I think it wasn't 0. I think it might have been Reddit. Whoever else, double negative. So the gun's not quite on point. So FaZe, they got to keep playing at that level.
They most definitely do. To your point, though, the Arden Forest game 4 will be hard point, of course, and then the game 5 search and destroy Arden Forest there as well. Let's just say FaZe do tie things up. Yes, we're jumping the gun just a little bit, but Arden Forest search, are you still favoring Red Reserve in that map?
I think this is much more close to 50-50. I thought Red Reserve had like a distinct advantage on London Docks, and even then, I mean, it goes around.
They technically did a 5-0 lead. That's a pretty big advantage.
But again, if FaZe can kind of string things together, obviously FaZe is a very good team. They're going to make those good mid-round adjustments. They have a decent amount of opening strats they can do, a decent amount of tricks in the back pocket. But I think it's going to be tough, as always. Against Red Reserve, it's going to be very, very difficult to do. But yes, if they get to Forest, I'm excited. I think that would be another round 10, round 11 barn burner. They just have to get there. But we've mentioned it before, FaZe has a large number of reverse sweeps under their belt, a handful at Anaheim. They're going to see it. They can let it ride because it cannot be understated. They need this win.
They definitely do. They definitely do. Of course, they're Stage 1 champions. Definitely not secured to making Stage 2 playoffs, and it'd be great to see if they could defend their championship here in Columbus, Ohio. Meanwhile, on the flip side, you got one of the best teams in the world currently, Red Reserve. Fallen short a couple of times this year, but with 2 big events left, they're hungry to take at least one of them, if not, of course, both. And even coming into this week, of course, a lot of people looked at the standing and said, yeah, they're good, they're secure. But you want to make sure they lock in that #1 seed, of course, because there are some teams now chasing for that #1 spot.
I'm trying to think, like if you get the #1 seed, you play the 4 seed from the next division. I'm trying to think of like the top 4 teams that are even expected to come out. I think the only one I would absolutely not want to play is definitely Rise.
Rise round 1? Yeah, right, I don't think anyone wants to play Rise round 1.
In my mind, as long as you make sure to get like a top 3 spot, I think you would be happy. I think you wouldn't be overly concerned with the matchup you're going to have. Like, especially Red Reserve, they're going to be like, we can take it to any of those teams. Right. Red Reserve would honestly say, give us Rise round 1 something.
But I feel like the opposite is true as well, right? If you're in the other division, you don't want to play against Red Reserve round 1. I think the opposite is definitely true. But to your point, that would be a very Red Reserve thing to say, and you're probably 100% right. And the reality is, I think Rise would sit at home and say, well, yeah, we'll take Red Reserve round 1 as well. Let us go at them. And of course, very, very confident after their last event win. But now, we head over to game 4, the Arden Forest hardpoint. Red Reserve, they had the 2-0 lead. FaZe now looking to keep the reverse sweep dreams alive. To your point, statistically, they're pretty good at it, but can they get the job done against the best team in this division? Kicking things off with FaZe Clan and, of course, Priesta. He had a couple of impressive individual highlight moments of that last map and starts things off with a nice nade kill onto Joe. Will he find anything else? Dancing through the smoke, ultimately drops rated with a big double to start things off for Red Reserve, and ultimately they get control of the first hill.
Well, if I remember correctly, last time FaZe played this map, I think Attach and Zuma dropped double 40 bombs, but I still think it was a pretty close game. They lost that.
I want to say, I may be wrong, but I remember there was a moment where FaZe were just playing unbelievably well on this map and ended up dropping it.
Either way, that's been like their storyline, right? Even when it seems like they're having a mass amount of success, they're close games. They're winning some, they're losing some. And Red Reserve, you're not afforded that luxury. Like, if you're out slaying, you have to be just like pedal to the metal. You can't let it be close. You gotta put the foot down. But Red Reserve off the rip. Again, Zuma's 5-2, but doesn't make a difference because Rated is going to be 4-1. They're going to be up by about 30 seconds. The rotation to next. Well, FaZe is in control, but it's close to a 50-50 because Scraps is coming through you. He gets taken down, but a couple nades going out, but it does look like FaZe going to be secure.
And Joe tried to push through mid-map. That would have been such a good play if he just got a little bit of timing, if nothing else, as he tried to run around the tank. Unfortunately, he does fall. So FaZe get control of Ruins. And of course, they still have control of the spawn. See Red Reserve spawning out back bridge. Meanwhile, FaZe spawning back bunker. Of course, you're going to be thinking about that new bunker hill that comes up in about 30 seconds. But more importantly, Attach trying to get another gunfight and win on the hill. Would have put him a kill closer to those streaks. Speaking of streaks, Zoomer himself getting pretty close. A 4-streak. Almost has double-digit kills, by the way, halfway through the second hill.
Does get taken down, though, Red Reserve. It took them 8 a long time, but the break is going to be there. Either way, though, FaZe will be pretty happy with that hill. Yes, they're going to be down by quite a little bit, but they got the rotation to next. The concern is, though, is Joe going to be able to win the gunfight over towards Cave? And, well, no, Attach with the AR. He's sitting ready for it. Meanwhile, Replays is fighting for the scrap time. He's going to get it, and yes, he gets dropped, but there's 0 seconds. And where does he spawn? Right back at the next hill. They have the ideal, the perfect setup. The question is, can Red Reserve break?
Now, of course, on the flip side, if you're FaZe, just win the first wave of gunfights. Big play from Priester, pushing out. Almost found the double. Only the single. Zoomer now watching mid-map. This could be another double for him. There's 1, there's 2. Easy as it comes. And bear in mind, for the first, 30 seconds of this hill, whilst 2 players are pushing out, putting so much pressure on the rest of the map, you still have 1 player in the form of Attach just kind of sat in the hill saying, don't worry, guys, I'm here.
This is done perfectly. Done perfectly from the tail end of the Ruins Hill to the opening of this. This has been like the third basically clean 4 down that they're gonna get. And they're pushed up aggressively. Once again, Priestley, he's over by the army truck. He's got 2 players that are dealing with him. They're never gonna be able to get towards that bunker hill. That is as good of a full 60 or full 59 if you're particular that you're gonna be able to get. FaZe taking the lead.
We complimented, of course, Red Reserve in map 1 for their extraordinary parking lot hill that they had. A fantastic hold. Well, same thing for FaZe Clan. Take out your pen, take out your paper, take some notes. That's a perfect bunker hold from them. As now we rotate over towards East Road. Red getting a little bit of early time here, but you expect the nades to come through. Of course, East Road, we mention it every time we see an R&N Forest Hardpoint. Very, very contest heavy. And tends to be neutral for quite a significant amount of time.
And Joe, obviously, is going to have to pick it up, right? 2-11. Like, yes, you can go double neg. You can get outslayed and still win. You can't go quintuple. That's a little bit too far, too big of a multiplier, and that is going to be, again, another set of FaZe kills. It is going to be Red Reserve spawning the back. You got to imagine, well, maybe the nades can take him down, but just because you're dealing with Priest, it takes a little bit longer to get towards the hill, but they break on through to the other side. As East Road normally goes, a lot of time just getting stripped off that game clock.
Yep. And in the final 14 seconds, FaZe may want to take a go at it. Of course, Scraps still there in cabin. Potentially just juggle the hill. Well, gets the kill as well, plus the 100 points. So, heading into the second rotation, FaZe on 97 to Red Reserve's 58-point lead. However, Red have the early setup over towards Cave. And note, Rated, it is the man again on this hill close to streaks. Assault rifle ready and waiting inside the hill. Priest is going to be spotted inside cabin. Going to be able to get minimum an assist to help towards the streak progression. Well, Priest actually wins the gunfight against Scraps and Rated in a spot of bother now. Only 8 shots. Joe saves the day, but as Rated tries to scramble away with his life, chopped down again.
And that's just Priest making a huge play, staying alive in cabin, distracting everyone from Red Reserve. Still, though, they're going to be inside the hill. You got 3 players from FaZe that are near or in the hard point, and they only really have 2 players for Red Reserve. Now make it 3 to deal with, but Red Reserve, it looks like they're on top for the moment because the flank from 0 is in. He's able to find 2, and now Replays. He gets tagged up from the player in the hill. The Cave Hill has been the strong point here for Red Reserve, and more importantly, they're at the next hill. They haven't won this rotation next because they got to win the gunfights. And Straps has got 2 players to deal with. He might just end up getting shot in the side. But FaZe playing a little bit slow.
It's important to note, I believe there is a glide bomb in play here for someone on Red Reserve. It is going to be Joe, so 6-14, but almost, potentially at least, fully streaked out. So you'd love to see him maybe just use it straight off the bat, see if they can try and break through. He's going to get the information. Zuma and Priest are probably going to try and shut down Priest. That does so. And if Joe's able to get full streaks, you can look at that slow start and could potentially just nullify it. Just needs the 1. Is he going to get it? Full streaks as Joe. A slow start but definitely picking things up.
From what, 2-11, 2-12, all the way to 8-14. And granted, that stat line doesn't look great, but you can see the difference in the score. They were down by 40, down by 50. Now they've tied it up and they've taken the lead. They're trying to run away with it. And with 15 seconds left, Joe could get set up. He could call the fighter pilot, wipe these players off in the back, and then they can make their move. They got plenty of time to work with. He can heal up. He can wait for the pressure to come in through cabin.
And it's important to note, whilst Joe did have a slow start, the just sheer consistency Rated has provided with an assault rifle this entire game. So a double positive, double kill after double kill coming through for him. A huge factor to why Red Reserve actually have the lead at this point. Joe's going to pop the fighter pilot, finds himself a double, but still FaZe with control of the hill. However, FaZe also spawning out. Will the follow-up kills come through? Red, they have the favorable spawns. Joe's probably going to put the artillery at the front. It's so important now that Red Reserve don't mess this up, because if they do, they're going to spawn out and they will not be able to break that hill.
It's got to be Priesty, though. Priesty coming on the backside. If he can, like, block those FaZe spawns, force him out just a little bit, which he's trying to, but Rated takes him down. The opportunity is still there, maybe in the hands of Zuma. The pinch is in. Zuma finds a kill. Replays finds a kill, but he gets taken down on the backside. FaZe, I guess you want to chalk it up, contest these final 18 seconds if you can, and maybe call that a win. You burn the streaks.
And it's worth mentioning, Joe still on a streak here, could double down on his score streaks. It's a 9-kill streak for him. He's in the hill and over half progression towards yet another glide bomb. From an unbelievably, tragically slow start to a 9 streak, almost positive. His teammates, of course, still doing a great job of just kind of carrying that weight at the beginning of the game. But as soon as Joe comes to life, I mean, this is the impact he can have. Still, however, a 20-point game. Red Reserve with the advantage of the plus 100 be great to give over towards Joe. Finds the pick, still looking for a couple more. An assist and a kill will do it.
That's perfectly executed. Rated knows he's not allowed to go to hell in that situation. Zero, by the way, is flanking. He's going to find 2. He should be able to get the 3rd. Doesn't have the ammo, but it doesn't matter because that gives Joe more streaks. The man was 2-11. Now he's on an 11 streak. He's already got 1 full set of streaks, and he's looking for a second.
May well find it. Priest fire rally. Joe lies down. Easiest kill of your career, son. There it is. Full streaks again for Joe. Finally, he falls, but fully streaked out twice in a row in 1 kill streak. You simply love to see it from Joe. And now the double kills coming through. Red Reserve getting loud. And more importantly, they have the lead here as well, Chance.
Joe is looking like the best ginger in the world right now. He has been insane. Red Reserve, they got a 28-point lead. I think at the moment, with all the streaks they have in their back pocket, you got to imagine they're going to be in a very comfortable spot. They got to make sure they keep these cabin spawns, though. If FaZe wipes them out, that turns into a bad artillery, and they might just quite be able to do it, but no, they're going to be in a good spot. They're going to break on through. They're going to get this hill time, and you just have to watch No Man's, which Scraps has on lock. Huge amount of time potentially to go the way of Red Reserve. 37 seconds left on the hill. Artillery is going to conclude. However, it's Red in the hill. FaZe, you'd love to see someone get some streaks, try and counter the just sheer aggression that Joe was able to put down on the map. Now 19-16, by the way, again on a bit of a streak, a minute 21 hill time. If he won that gunfight, you can start thinking about potentially overlapping even more streaks, but he has a fighter pilot and a glide bomb. Of course, he can use that to break an early setup. FaZe may get over towards Ruins. As I say that, though, you can see Rated playing so passively. That seemed to be the game plan when you just took a quick look at it. 3 players full, and again, they just need to get themselves in a good position, watch Joe call in a streak, and ultimately break Ruins. Well, they have Mountain, though. I think 3 players on my count have Mountain from the hands of FaZe. You're going to see the fighter pilot, but the question is how many players can he essentially find with it? None of them have Mountain. About that Mountain. About that Mountain. Well, he didn't find any kills anyway, so I guess it didn't matter. Okay, well, next time I say by my count, just ignore everything I say after that. Either way, the fighter pilot, it opens up the map, at least. FaZe, they're still going to be inside of you, but the pinch is coming in. Scraps is just doing everything he can. Stay alive, jiggle peek, look for some kills. The smokes are in, but so is the time going the way of Red Reserve. Yeah, 27 seconds left on Ruins. FaZe, yes, they have bunker spawn, but that's about the only thing they have going for them here. You cannot afford to give up this final 20. A contest at bare minimum, but 3 players fall. Rated last man up. He's watching the mid-cut. Can he find the first? Yes, he can. Attach is going to challenge there again. Priesta, though, from up top connects with the kill. A big chunk of spare change there on that Ruins hill. Ultimately, no one's going to get it. So it all comes down to the spawns. FaZe Clan, you executed damn near perfectly on a bunker on, what was it, the 2nd rotation. Can you do it again here on what will inevitably be the final rotation? They have a similar setup. 1 kill comes through for Priesta. Can he find the second? 2 players challenging. Not going to happen. Replays tries to put himself into a position to trade. But here come the streaks. I mean, he's going to find Attach in the back, but Attach, where's he going to spawn? Right back in the exact same place. So the question is,
Or not.
who wins the gunfights up front? And as I say that, Red Reserve, they win 2 in a row. They surge on forward, and FaZe is going to spawn out. And I thought they would have had it.
It's important to note exactly why that spawn came through. Is just the sheer aggression Red Reserve put onto the map and into the hill. You would have, of course, loved to see the spawn come through at the back, but not going to be the case. 240, 182, 0. A wonderful performance from him. We've been pretty quiet, of course, as we mentioned the wonderful run from Joe, but Zero almost gets himself streaks. 34 kills for the win. You called it, Chance.
You got to win the hard points. Like, again, I think Zuma even said, like you heard Jess in the pre-match interview, like we have to clutch up in the hard point to beat Red Reserve, but too strong is the slaying power. Too strong is Joe and Zero. They played fantastic. Outside of losing 5 rounds in a row in S&D, Red Reserve looked almost flawless because the flag tower, again, they've lost so many one flag tower. I'm saying they're just going that to get better, not necessarily to win. So they would have preferred the 3-0, but they'll take happily the 3-1 as well.
Yep, most definitely will. Another win for the #1 team in the division so far for FaZe Clan. They're going to be down, but by no means are they out. Still plenty of Call of Duty action for them to play and potentially secure their spot in the top 4, and more importantly, Stage 2 players, of course, are reigning champs. Do they get through? Do you have them in your top 4, Chance?
For FaZe?
Yeah.
No, not anymore. If they had beaten Red Reserve, I think it would have been still difficult, but very, very feasible. Obviously, you beat the best team. That gives you a huge bump, but like Echo Fox has stepped up massively, right? So Echo Fox looks like they're one of the front runners who might end up coming in first in the division. Who knows? And then Envy and TK are just ahead. EG is still ahead. I think it's still a doable situation for FaZe. I just don't think it's very likely. Again, it's kind of like the Red Reserve series. It's doable. It comes down to those round 11s in the S&D, and then it's just not likely. It just doesn't happen. I think at FaZe at this point, teams are just better.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well said. Of course, for Red Reserve, as we mentioned, congratulations to them, the 3-1 victory. It's going to be good for them to just keep getting those wins, of course. They started off the week a little slow, but they finished it off pretty well, I think it's fair to say, outside of, to your point, 5 rounds in a row on the search, and maybe the Flak Tower CTF. Is that a map you just keep expecting to see them play, the Flak CTF?
Yes, I think more than likely. I think a lot of teams wouldn't want to play London Docks against them, for example, and so they just want to ban the Force. That way they can play the Flak Tower, and against Echo Fox, for example, if they're a flag dive away from just winning that series and winning that game and winning 3-0, and they're like, Red Reserve still look fantastic. So all the struggles on their map, it comes down to really small key moments. Zero almost getting streaks, Joe finishing the gunfight on Priest when he's diving across the flag. Outside of the super small details, they're playing well. Things just haven't been going their way.
Well, congratulations to Red Reserve. Once again, #1 team in the division. We can send it now to our PlayStation Instant Reaction. Jess is with Scraps.
Thanks, Ben. So, Scraps, it was a fantastic 3-1, but it wasn't the 3-0 that you predicted. Where did the confidence to make that 3-0 prediction come from?
I think, obviously, with how good our team is, I think coming into this division, we should be more or less 3-0 everybody in this. Obviously, going off the last, say, at Anaheim, we should be comfortably beating everyone, so that's why we're so confident.
I think that's fair. What did go wrong on the CTF?
I think just letting people sneak, taking too many shortcuts, like outskirts, for example, and low green, just letting people sneak is our main problem. But as soon as we fix that, I think Flak Tower will be very comfortable.
All right, and finally, you're finishing out this week still at the top of your division. How are you feeling looking forward to the next week, the final week for your division here in Stage 2?
I'm looking forward to it, obviously. With the position we're in, it's not the same feeling going into series. It's not as exciting, but obviously we're just getting the job done and just looking forward to playoffs.
Great. Well, thank you so much for the interview. This has been your PlayStation Instant Reaction. We'll be right back after this quick break.
for this moment, and it's finally here. The Call of Duty World League Championship.
Pushing back, they can't let them contest. 239, 239, 3 goes down. They're taking it, and Christ is roaring.
Attach comes back. Here's the gunfight. Attach is able to win it.
That's how it's gonna end. That's how it's gonna end.
This year has absolutely flown by. Champs already around the corner, but before we get there, we have the playoffs. And now, after that matchup FaZe, it's going to look like a very tough road for them. And Red, they get to take another deep breath, one of the most dominant teams that we have seen in this division. My name is Rich. I'm going to be your host. And we got Merc and Nameless on the desk. And I want to talk about FaZe for just a second here, even outside of the series that we just witnessed. It's going to get really rough for them, Joe.
No, it is. I mean, they're right now sitting at 5-6. They just have 3 matches left. Just one a day next week. You know, they already had their 2-match day, which was yesterday. They went 2-0. They got to 5-5. They put themselves in a pretty good spot. They're still okay, but yeah, they're in trouble. They have to go at least 2-1, I think, to give them a chance. 3 wins would, I think, make them safe. I think they'll be okay at 9, but 8 will put them in a spot where maybe you're talking about a tiebreaker then. You know, they did lose to Envy. I think they still have to play Envy next week. I believe they have to play Echo Fox as well. So some very tough matches still for FaZe. But yeah, again, every single loss is difficult for these teams.
This was a weird thing that we were talking about during the break. We were all kind of sitting here and we're going, okay, so we're basically at the point where we're starting to figure out what are the possible permutations that can happen. What are the possible top 4s that we see to make it to playoffs for this division? And a thing that we had said a little bit earlier, and now, Ant, that we kind of said now is, there could be a team with 7 losses that does make it into top 4.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, it's just going to depend on how things shake up. I mean, like right there, like FaZe losing that match that's bad for them. You know, they're gonna have to win out these next 3 games in order to make it in. And then like this next match, Echo Fox versus Envy. If I'm FaZe, I'm hoping that Envy loses because you want another team to, I guess, solidify their spot, and then you're gonna win the tiebreaker over Envy if you win out. So if I'm FaZe, that's what I'm looking forward to, I guess, making it into that 4th spot. But it's gonna be extremely tough.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be tough because if Echo Fox wins, they're at 7 wins with EG, and then you have Red Reserve at 8. So those teams are looking good. But if Envy was to beat them, then you have a couple of teams at 6, right? So I don't know. It's so back and forth. I believe
Envy has a tiebreaker over FaZe, so you want Envy to just lose. Because if you tie with Envy in your FaZe, you don't make it in.
Right.
So you want Envy to just lose out, and you want to win out.
It's actually super complicated at this point
still
to figure it out because
just win.
It's like you need to win right now and almost not even think about the other factors, and that's exactly what Red Reserve has been doing so far. We're going to see it in this series, and we've seen it throughout the entirety of the league, really, for the most part. And you got to keep in mind, this matchup, once again, this matchup was the matchup of the only 2 teams from this division to make it into the top 8 of CWL Anaheim, and Red Reserve gets a very swift victory.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, Ant sort of said it. They controlled the hard points. FaZe continues to struggle in that game mode. But I'll be honest, every time you watch Red Reserve on St. Marie, what they do so well going from winery to parking lot is just superb. If I'm any team wanting to play St. Marie, I'm copying what they do on the second and third hill, because what they do is they consistently put pressure on winery where they just try to split the time. They don't want the spawns. They hit it from the front. But what that does is that basically just makes sure that they have spawns for a parking lot where they know they can get pushed out a little bit. They can get 50 to 60 seconds. I'm copying that. I'm watching that gameplay if I want to play St. Marie. But Red Reserve's so good at that.
They're also sensational on that field hill right after. I mean, it's just an all-around map for that Red Reserve team, and I think they're probably top 2, if not the best hardpoint team in the world right now. So I mean,
Rise,
I think they beat Rise in the majority of hardpoints last night. So I think Red Reserve is definitely a sensational team in hardpoint. It's going to be too hard to beat them, but tough loss for FaZe. You got to win a hardpoint if you're them, man. They're a team who's been good at hardpoint previously. You can't lose both.
And you mentioned before we even jumped in that hardpoint was what you were scared about. You were 100% correct. Now we're going to have to ask the guys on the desk what we expect headed into the next series, the final series